All right, so for the few followers I have that are going to watch this video, you're going to be wondering who the heck is Tom Nash? Well, according to Tom Nash, he is a full-time YouTuber, but he was a former financial analyst in his previous life, and he doesn't take shit from anyone. Well, he's going to have to take a little bit from me today. I'm just kidding. Actually, a big fan of Tom's, and so he's convinced me to dump a lot of money into Palantir, but as he says, you should always do your research. So while I was doing my research, I came across their career page, and they happen to have some really good resume advice, which would be good for my audience. So if you're from Tom's audience, I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you to smash like. I don't need you to subscribe, at least not at this point. I don't need you to do anything except for listen up to me, because I'm going to be giving you some great resume writing advice. So who the heck am I? Well, I am Dr. Craig Engstrom, but you can just call me Craig because I'm not a pompous jerk. I'm just an easygoing guy who teaches business communication at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and I'm also a LinkedIn career coach. I work with LinkedIn. I'm one of their expert career vendor program vendors, and so I think what I have to offer is usually good advice, but you know, sometimes people don't listen to me. So I thought, why not listen to Palantir, because they actually have some really good advice. Let's switch over to the screen, and you can see this is Palantir's site. And you can see it is a beautiful site. Now, I've done my research. I think this company is awesome. I can talk about why I think it's awesome from a communication point of view someday in the future. But what I did is I was just kind of poking around, and I came across their careers. And then I saw this thing for students, and because I teach and I'm always looking for opportunities for students, I thought I would go ahead and click on it. So it opened up this page here, and the first thing you will note is that this is some beautiful page. I love the minimalism. And just, it's super awesome. I mean, look at this. It's just beautiful color. It's kind of this gray, kind of paper-esque color. Big, bold fonts. Great typeface. Nice, beautiful graphics. I don't know. So in terms of design, this is just something to look at. So, but the more important thing is I'm always preaching about what you should do on your resume, how to write a high-impact resume, how to write a persuasive resume. And it turns out they actually coach their applicants on a variety of things when you're applying. So first off, you can check out these videos. Now, these are all engineers, so this is not likely to apply to my students, though they might be looking for some public relations type folks in that part of their business. But this was mainly engineering. But I still think what they offer here is just great applicable advice for any career seeker, any job seeker, anybody writing a resume, just some really great recommendations. So they have a few application tips. So they're like, hey, what we require, an updated resume, even call it a CV, speaking to that European audience or the international audience, so to speak. And you should always have an updated resume. Be tracking that. I have some great videos, links in the descriptions to how to write high-impact profiles, how to write high-impact bullet points, and so forth. And then they say thoughtful responses to our application questions. This sounds very simple, but they really want you to put some time into it. And as I always coach, when you're applying for a job, it is a full-time job. So you need to be really active and engaged and put the time into it, right? Why should somebody offer you a position if you just, clicked a button and applied? You might get into some part of the process, but you need to work your network. You need to work and build up great content. And if you're not a great writer, that's where you hire career coaches and people who resume write. I think that's a worthwhile investment, good return on investment. But I'm always saying, look, you can do a lot of this stuff yourself. And in fact, a lot of my clients, after I look at their resume, or potential clients, I say, you don't really need me. This is what you need to do. Go do it. But this is the critical advice. The first thing is, and it makes sense for a data company, but this applies to any company, is to quantify yourself. You really need to put in some metrics in your resume. Look, I just helped a person who is a financial analyst, actually, and I was just surprised how somebody that is in a data-driven profession is including things like this return on investment, this increase year over year, this amount of a budget, this client worth this much. Why aren't you quantifying, right? So this applies to any type of position you want to quantify yourself. And you could see here, they actually say that. Clearly describe what you did and focus on the outcomes. Build credibility with specific metrics and show the impact of your work. So what did your work accomplish? Did it drive up sales? Did it decrease inefficiencies? Did your work drive new donors? Whatever it might be, you can quantify and show impact of the work that you've done. Otherwise, you're just giving the same job duties. Everybody in your profession does the same thing. So just listing duties that you did tells people nothing, right? It's what did you accomplish. They also say list what sets you apart. And I think sometimes people don't put enough emphasis on some of the coursework they've done, their community involvement. Side projects are huge, especially in data-driven professions, computer science. Put on your GitHub account, build things on GitHub, just as an example. For those of you in public relations or marketing, you better have a website with some projects that I can look at. That's what people want to see. Ensure your resume is easy to understand, format it clearly, and keep it short. So I wanted to highlight here, they say 1 to 2 pages. Most people are only doing 1 page. They think that's what the standard is. It's not. In fact, I can point to a bunch of articles, and I'll put one in the description that explains that you can have a 2-page resume, and in fact, your 1-page resume is likely hurting you. So that's just something I want to emphasize as well, that you can have a 2-page resume. Make sure that you have things on there. Now, don't get wordy. Don't put things that you don't need on your resume. Be specific, stick to the points, don't be repetitive. If you've said something in one job, you don't need to repeat it for the next, because if you can do it here, you can do it there. But you still need to provide some information, right? So do that. Also with the bullets though, keep the writing clean. Don't use hedging statements. Try to avoid nominalization, which we call zombie phrase. So for example, saying something like, I contributed to the internationalization of the curriculum. That might be something I say. I internationalized the curriculum. I can just say that. Why do I have to say all of those other words? And get peer review, right? Reach out to people, reach out to your friends, reach out to people in industry, and take feedback. So I work in higher education. I'm a researcher. And I get rejected a lot, but I take that feedback. I get rejected from publications, I should say. And I've been rejected from my fair number of jobs too. But I take the feedback. I listen to what they're saying. I see or understand what I've done wrong, and I improve on it. So that is just good advice. And so while Palantir is a great company to invest in, I also think they have great resume advice. And if you're applying to Palantir, definitely listen to what they say. But if you're applying to any company, listen to what they have to say. And I do hope that Tom Nash is right, because if he is, I'm going to make some good money off of Palantir stock. So you should check them out if you're into investing. I do think they have a lot of the sort of values that many people, especially in the field of communication, would appreciate. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, now's the time to like the video and leave a comment. It's free to do so. Helps out the algorithm, will help me out. And while I've grown my channel by over 100% in less than a month, I'd like to double that. I'd like to grow it again 100% in the next month. So that means I have to hit 400 subscribers in the next month. We'll see. But that would be something I could quantify on a resume. And so there you have it, folks. Until the next video, I do hope that you have a wonderful day.